Where do you find contractors? I get that question all the time. So until you find your go to guys, because we all have them, I know who my favorites are. I know who answers the phone the first time that I call. Those are the ones that you got to look for, or you get a good referral. So you're going to get a referral from friends, family, or anyone else that you're as a colleague that is worked for them, done work, and they liked it. Those are always good referrals. Do not and try not to use Uncle Joe. There's a reason for that because anytime you're using a family member to do work for you, somehow, some way, it goes sideways. When that happens, now I have to have somebody else mediate, which is usually your mother or somebody like that, or their mother, and it becomes a big squabble. And then I have several clients that don't even speak to each other at Christmas anymore because of situation just like that. So avoid it at all times. So um, go to Home Depot or Lowe's at 7 in the morning, Monday through Friday. Any of those days work. They have a pro desk. The pro desk has all of the contractors that come through. They usually know who the plumbers are, who the electricians are, who the HVAC guys are. All of that information, they have that. All you have to do is ask them or walk around. And if you see them coming up to the cashier with a whole lot of lumber or a whole lot of supplies, guess what? They're contractors. Get their card, go by where, ask for addresses, go by where they're doing their work, and see what kind of a job they do. Then you'll know whether or not it's a contractor you want to work with. This is all work you have to do before you put a house under contract, okay? I do want you to avoid Juan that operates out of the back of his truck. It could be any name you want, it doesn't matter, but it's just the guy that, he's that handyman that's not licensed to do anything. He kind of learned it on the fly. He's good at working at his own house, so that's what he does. That does not mean that he's going to come back and warranty anything. He's never going to be able to do an excellent job, and most likely it just doesn't work well. So, best not to use those guys. And they're never going to come back and do a punch list, which means things that are incorrect that need to be fixed before closing with the new buyer, or warranty the work. Something breaks after the fact. You're never going to find him a guy again. If the price seems too good to be true, guess what? It usually is. If you haven't already had the contractor at your house that you're going to be renovating, then you need to meet them to go over the work that you need them to do because they have to be able to put together what their cost bid is to you and so that you know whether or not it's a figure that's going to work in your renovation budget. Um, I try to meet as many contractors at once so that I only have to make that walk on the house one time, maybe two. Make it very clear about the scope of work and your expected timelines. I cannot explain to you and emphasize more. They have to understand what type of time frame you have to work in. If you only have 4 days for the HVAC guy to get in there, reduct, and then put in his units, he has to be able to commit to those 4 days because that's what's going to be in his contract for him to perform against. So I don't accept flat quotes. What that means is they give me a quote for the entire job. Well, what if I can buy the lights and my electrician can just do the wiring? More than likely, I could find those lights myself because I get a builder's price too, and I provide them for him, and then he puts them in. Probably costs me less, saves me on my budget. Um, I'm going to look for contractors that understand what's called the wholesale model. That means they understand that you're a flipper, so they can't be charging you 20% that they're going to charge to a retail customer. It has to be back down to that 10% level. So that's the other thing you have to understand. And do remember that when you're estimating a job and you're under your option period, which I'm going to explain a little bit, then you have to get that done in 24 to 36 hours. And that means walk the house, talk to your contractors, and get their pricing, put together your bid 24 to 36 hours. That's all you got.